Welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Kit Took. Moving forward with the 10th season, welcome to the 10th season, welcome to the new year, welcome to the spring equinox. As we move forward through this podcast, we're continuing to learn more about ourselves and how it is that we can catch a new perception. Something I've attempted to share to the best of my ability through this process is how I've caught a new perception, how I've changed my perception, how the experience that I've had through doing these things. And one thing that I found is that changing my perception is good for me. And one of those things that I've done to change my perception and continue to do to change my perception is sometimes doing things I don't want to do. Doing video on this podcast is one of them. I've continued to change things on this podcast as I've been asked to, sometimes suggested, just different conversations with people. Change the length of it, start to put names on it and name the episodes and all those types of things. And now doing video. It's been a suggestion. The difference between wanting to and willing to. I am willing to do things I don't want to do. And what I have found is that that's been healthy for me. I have been willing to do a lot of things I don't want to do. I don't really want to do video. I'd like to keep my face off the screen. I like using a spirit name. I like the idea of a little bit of not necessarily confidentiality, maybe a little bit of anonymity, maybe just trying to keep my egotism out of it and make this podcast something that people can appreciate and enjoy, make this podcast something that allows people to change who they are, in the process at that same time changing who I am. And knowing that everything that I'm doing moving forward is healthy for me, with suggestions that it could be healthy for someone else to live a good life, to be able to change and make a better life. Even though our lives are good for many of us and our lives are more productive than they've ever been and we're doing healthier things than we've ever done, we can always continue to do more. And that is the essence of this podcast. It's not necessarily always showing my humanness or my flaws or how I'm broken, which is very true. Many of you people that know me personally know those things about me. What I'm talking about is being able to kind of set aside my humanness and attempt to get to know my higher self on a daily basis. Going through this podcast and be willing to do things I don't want to do. And one of the things that I have heard people talk about is how they've been able to do that. Some of my mentors that came before me, what they were able to do is guide me into doing certain things that I didn't want to do. I was willing to do. I didn't want to go out and speak to some people that I had crossed in different ways. For lack of a better term, people I had harmed. Whether that was emotionally or financially or whatever it was that I was doing that wasn't healthy and a productive lifestyle, to go try and reconcile that to the best of my ability. I didn't want to do these things when I began to get to know my higher self. I was willing to. That is the essence of this program. I talk about not doing substances in my life anymore. I try not to reach outside of myself. I try to go inside to find what it is that I need. And reaching outside of myself, I was reaching for substances at one point in my life and use alcohol for an example. And when I was doing that, people talk about being comfortable or you just do what you want to do and you'll be able to do whatever. An example for me was I was very comfortable sitting on a bar stool. I was very comfortable consuming alcohol. It wasn't good for me. I didn't necessarily want to stop. I was willing to so that I could learn to get to know my higher self. I need to be willing to be able to use a camera, do video, and move forward with this podcast in a good way. I'm willing to. Another example I think of is how Throughout my life, I've had the opportunity to go to many funerals, and I've had the opportunity to go to celebrations of life, as they're commonly called today. And I see the funerals that I went to when I was coming up as a celebration of life, talking about the person who has passed over and has taken that long journey, and talking with people about them and our relationship to them and what they meant to us or what they did for us or how we interacted with them, and have all that conversation, as we can do for a lifetime as we move on, speaking about these people and continue to celebrate their life. And going to these funerals coming up, especially, I didn't want to do those things, and I was willing to. So I have done things and been willing to do things I don't want to do many times in my life. And I'm learning how to do things in a good way. I'm learning how to do things I don't want to do. And as an end result, I get what I want from doing these things. And I use this as an example today because this camera is not something that I want to do. And it's something I'm willing to do. Chances are something I will continue to do. This might be a one-time thing. I know that this podcast could end at any time, very abruptly. I know all of those things could happen. I believe that I will continue to do this. I believe that I will continue to share with you how I am learning to get to know my higher self, how I am learning on a daily basis how I can do things I don't want to do because I'm willing to. I'm willing to change. And see, that's the whole essence of it, is I want to change. I want to feel different. I want a different perception. I want to see the world different. I want to continue to see myself differently. I'm happy with who I am so often in my life today that I get by, I'm content, things are good. And there was a time where that wasn't true, where I struggled with such things. The idea of waking up every day wasn't easy. Going to do the daily grind wasn't easy. And today I have an opportunity to work. I get to work. I don't have to work. That makes sense to me. I should be privileged, feel like I'm privileged to have a job, that I'm employable, that someone wants me to work for them, that they're willing to pay me for the work that I do. Those are good things. You know, and I would love to be able to get paid for being able to help people. I've tried different adventures in my life to be able to try to do that, and hasn't always worked out real well. Speaking of which, there's a Patreon account. If you would like to be able to donate something to this, that would be great. If you would subscribe to this podcast, that would be wonderful. You could always give it a thumbs up if you appreciate an episode. You can ring the bell so you're notified of episodes coming up in the future. The idea of being able to donate to this podcast, I would appreciate, and it would be nice to be able to long-term make some sustainability out of this. And if not, chances are I'm going to continue to do this, because the one thing that I've learned in life is that the more I do the things that are healthy for me, the more I want to do them. And it doesn't matter whether I'm talking about food, the way that I treat people. Food is a good example in a sense. And I've often, not often necessarily, I've mentioned a few times on this podcast that I am not going to talk specifically about food a whole lot, although I've changed my food through the years in different ways at different times. And what that does is it allows me to be able to think different about my food, and I appreciate that. And one of the things I was just thinking about when it comes to this is how I will indulge in some food, and then I will start thinking that I could have more, I could have different. What it is I want to do with that? Do I want to be able to continue to eat healthy? Do I want to be able to continue to think healthy? Is the intake of my food allowing me to change the way I think? I don't know, maybe. Maybe it has my diet has a lot more to do with the way that I think and my perception of the world than what I know. It's all of the little things that we do. Maybe it's the fact that I've been employed with the same employer for decades that allow me to be able to think the way that I do. I don't know. I don't know what it is that got me to this point that allows me to be free the way that I am. I don't know what it is that I need to be able to change to be able to think different tomorrow. So I'm willing to take an action today. Some of those actions that I take on a daily basis are things that I've done and set a routine and I do on a daily basis, whether that's yoga, whether that's meditation, whatever that is, to be able to allow me to continue that trajectory up, getting to know my higher self. And there are certain things that I leave out because I'm like, I don't need to be watching these things on TV. I don't need that negativity. I don't need this violence. I don't want those things in my life. I don't know what it brings. I don't want to create certain energy around that. So I leave certain things behind. And then I gravitate towards new things, and I grab new things, and I grab new ideas. And I grab new ideas from you and the people around me and my mentors and the elders around me and the wee ones coming up have a really good idea sometimes. As I spoke about childhood games, thinking about some of them that I played through the years, some of them that I would like to be able to play again. I remember playing marbles when I was young, and marbles weren't fashionable. I had a great-grandfather, when I was a wee one, telling me he used to play marbles and telling me how to pitch a marble with a piss finger, and he'd show me the action, how you put a marble in and how you'd shoot that marble. And I didn't know much about marbles. I didn't know how to play marbles. It's like playing jacks. I don't know how to. Until somebody shows me, I don't know how. And those types of childhood games, what do they do for us today? What is it that a conversation with somebody else is going to spark that's going to change our perception today? What is it when you do something for someone else that's going to change your perception today? What is it when you do something for yourself and sit in solitude and be quiet and honor that seventh direction of going in? What is it that you're going to do for yourself today? How can you learn to see this different? How can you continue to see it different? How can you continue to see it the same when you need to bring that with you into the future of what it is that keeps your trajectory at a high level and continues to elevate your higher self? How do you bring all of those things with you and leave behind you what you don't need? Well, that's what this next season is going to be about in this podcast, is helping us be able to see our higher self, helping us to be able to get to know our higher self, helping us hold on to that peace that we receive when we are knowing our higher self, the essence of the direction in. These are the types of things that we can explore on this podcast. I encourage you to comment if you'd like to hear more about different subjects or specific subjects, and we can see where we can go in this upcoming season as we begin a new season, a new year, with video along with the audio. And my hope is that this can continue in a good way and that you're able to get something out of it, that you're able to change your life, that you're able to change the way that you think. And then when you do change it, that you hold on to what you need to and then continue to make changes to continue that trajectory up, getting to know your higher self. I will do everything I can to get to know my higher self today. I will do everything I can to be able to reach out to another human being and get out of myself, leave my egotism behind, leave my selfishness behind, leave the self-delusion behind, and get to know my higher self. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay?